March 17th, 2023, Idukki district in Kerala. A young mother and her child ended their lives by jumping into a well soon after the death of her newborn child, who died choking on breast milk at home. The mother was apparently also suffering from postnatal depression after the loss of her second child as well. This was a headline that really hit me professionally as a midwife and personally as a mother. Today, May 5th, marks the International Day of the Midwife. Since 2010, Birthvillage has been practicing classical midwifery. Yes, we are very well known for the births that we practice, for the love and support that we offer our mothers. But I do believe one of the most important services that we rendered was our postnatal home visits. We as midwives would visit our mothers and babies, check in on them, how was their bleeding, how was breastfeeding going on, whether babies were off to a good start, whether mothers were well adjusted in their homes. Our mothers used to really look forward to these visits. However, when we moved in to a new center in 2021, we noticed that we couldn't keep up with these postnatal home visits. One, it was the escalating costs. Two, it was time constraints. But what we saw in the coming year was that we saw a huge hike in postnatal depression. We saw babies with a lot of breastfeeding issues. We also saw a lot of relationship challenges between the mom, her parents, her in-laws, her husband, and sometimes even her own peer group. And I decided enough is enough, and we are going to restart the service no matter what be the cost. Because I realized there was nothing more important than seeing our mothers happy, whole, fulfilled, and most importantly, safe. But when I reflect as a midwife, though our profession is largely governed by births, we must not forget the postnatal period that is unique and extremely vulnerable for any woman. New mothers are ripe for attachment and bonding, and we need to be available for her in a completely non-judgmental zone. We need to tell these mothers that we don't have to glamorize busyness. We need to tell them that they can be completely at ease to rest and recuperate, and most importantly, showing up in their most authentic selves for their baby. This is what we as midwives stand for, and we must advocate wholeheartedly for our mothers and babies. Today we have with us Ramya Prashant, who is a second-time BV mom. Ramya, we know each other for 5 years right now, right?
Yeah.
And I've seen Ramya go through as a first-time mother. I've seen you grow into a vegan. Then, incidentally, we are in a vegan cafe today.
Yes.
And you are around now 5 weeks postpartum. The first few hours, including the minutes post-birth, I feel there's an altered state that women go through, right? Which is neither here nor there, right? Could you tell me a little more about what you felt straight away after you had your baby?
It was a very magical experience for me. Like suddenly I've got the baby in my hands, and it's all slowed down.
Yeah.
And there was no rush. There was no rush, and everybody slowed down, and everybody were like, I was given skin to skin. I was in the magic of skin to skin with my baby, and my elder child, she was also in awe of the newborn baby, how tiny it is, and my husband was also feeling very elated.
Right.
Of the birth, and everybody were taking care of us. We were given time for ourselves to be with us and to sink in the feeling of the newborn.
Right.
It was a wonderful experience.
It's almost like a surreal experience,
Yes.
right? It's like you can't even believe for a minute that your baby is here.
Yes.
but your baby is here.
Yes.
And there's that ecstasy that comes with it, which is really nice.
Yes.
Women today prepare so much for the birth. They read so much on social media. They attend classes. But very few actually even think about a phase called postpartum. What do you feel about that?
Even I was in that phase. I was concentrating more on the birth, the real birth. But I never thought about postpartum at all. It was a totally different ball game. So when the baby was born, I actually didn't know what to do. Breastfeeding, although I attended the Lamas classes and all, breastfeeding, I had latch issues initially with my firstborn, and I faced different issues. So postpartum was never thought about during my first time and second time even.
What kind of discussions do you think family members have with the mother with respect to postpartum, or is there no discussion at all?
Actually, it's more about the baby and not much about the mother. The mental health of the mother is not being discussed at all. It's more about how the baby grows into different phases. So I don't think much importance is given for the mother at all.
Right. Another point is the bond between a mother and a baby. We say it gets stronger with the care that she receives. And the question is, do you feel that the mother receives adequate care in the postpartum period? A, from family, B, from the care provider, and 3, from the community.
Actually, the mother do not receive from the family. Some families, they do understand the importance of postpartum with the mother, so they do provide care for them. But many of them, they don't understand how valuable it is for the mother. Care providers generally, it's just after the birth, the baby is being focused more, not the mother. So the mother's health is not being cared at all.
Having a postnatal midwife from Birthvillage come and visit you, and this is your second time right now, right? Can you contrast how that went for you? First time and second time, how was it like?
Postnatal midwife attending me, and that is when we actually identified that the baby is not gaining enough weight and she is not latching properly.
Right.
So having them come over and check on us was good. Actually, otherwise we would not have identified that there was such a problem at such a short notice, and we could identify and solve it easily. Second time also, a postnatal midwife had attended on us, and they had checked on the baby's weight, how I am feeling, how my health is, and overall the situation. So that was actually very good. Because then they had told me about how we have to show enough sunlight for the baby and all, which we would not have otherwise identified.
Right.
So the technical side, the midwife took over, and it was such a privilege of them coming over and checking on us.
And nobody asked the mother, how are you feeling? Because all the visitors are coming to see the baby. Not exactly the mother, right? How true is that?
It is actually true. Everybody wants to come and check on the newborn, and so many gifts are being brought for the newborn. And the mother is actually not at all being cared. Suddenly there is a huge change for her from being a normal lady to a mother with overnight feeds and with no sleep at all and all. But nobody is asking and caring for her. But someone to come and just ask whether you're feeling good. Whether
you're okay.
Yeah, okay. That itself feels great.
Right.
And someone to share what we feel. And who can understand how we feel.
Right. And what kind of conversations do you have at your house visits?
They do ask about my mental, how I feel, whether I'm happy, whether I'm happy with the baby, and overall, whether I am being cared for. So these questions nobody asks.
Nobody asks, right? And that is the value of a postnatal midwife checking in, because we know that currently postpartum depression is on the rise. We are losing mothers to this. It's true, sometimes we may not be in that boat, but it doesn't mean others are not.
Yes.
Now, because you experienced postnatal midwifery first time, um, do you think it is essential second time? Did you face different kinds of issues second time, or is
Yes.
it the same?
It is essential actually, because each birth is different, each postpartum is different. Because it is different, different issues can arise over different births. For example, I didn't have a engorgement in my first postpartum, but I faced engorgement in the second birth. There was BV team to help me with solving that. So it felt great because I knew what to do.
Yeah,
Otherwise, I would be scared.
yeah,
I wouldn't know what to do.
right. Another thing we have noticed with respect to your visits is that your whole family is involved, right from your folks from the doorstep to your husband Prashant being very involved, your older one is involved. In fact, your sister is around with her child as well. It's not every day we see the whole family involved postnatally. Would you like to tell us a little bit more about that?
Actually, my family, my husband being there, my husband and my older one being there at the birth itself is a blessing for me, because my older one, she got to see right from the birth of the child, and that creates a bond with the sibling. I feel so. So her presence was really good, and then it actually comes down to her helping me with day-to-day chores of taking care of the baby. And right from changing the nappy to helping her, helping me with taking, bathing the baby, everything she helps. And my sister, she was right, she was ready to come right at the time of the birth. And her child, she also came. They came early and they took over. They care for the baby and myself. Whenever I need some sleep, my mother or my sister, they care for the baby, and that is when I get some rest. So my postpartum has been made easier with the presence of my family. Even my husband at nights, whenever someone needs to rock the baby, he takes over that rocking the baby, and then I can get some sleep.
Right.
So when everyone gets involved as a village, so that is when I can get some rest, and that makes my postpartum easier.
So much more easier.
Yeah.
So, if I were to ask you, Ramya, now you're a seasoned mother of two, what would be your top tips to a new mother?
We have to take help from people. We have to ask and take help from people. We do not have to shy away from doing that. Second point which I would like to say is actually we don't have to worry about rushing back to going into work. We have to slow down, take time for ourselves. Our body has gone through so much during the 9 months, so it takes time to come back into a normal state. So we have to slow down, take care of ourselves, then take care of that's when we can take care of the baby. Only when we take care of us, we can take care of the baby. So we have to slow down for that, and we don't have to be in a haste to come back to pre-birth body.
Yeah.
So we have to slow down for that also.
Yeah.
Everything takes its own time.
Yeah.
So we have to give ourselves the time for that.
Yeah. And I must say, Ramya, you look radiant and lovely. You know, in fact, I think you glow better second time as a mom, much more. You're so bright and vivacious, and your thoughts come. Simple essence of slowing down. I think that is the most important message that new mothers have to hear. They don't have to be on a rush to get onto a computer, mobile phone, back to work. Of course, there are families where it's essential, but if they can and take care of themselves, those are going to be your precious weeks or months. And you're going to be much more efficient in taking care of your child, your family, and most importantly, yourself. And I think you said that beautifully. Thank you so much, Ramya. It's so wonderful that you were able to bring these gems today. Thank you so much, Ramya.
Thank you.
Thank you.